I'm Dwayne Brown. Tonight on KPBS Evening Edition, the latest on the fight against Ebola, including word of a new experimental treatment created by a medical device company right here in San Diego. A job and resource expo for female veterans at Liberty Station, why organizers are having a tough time reaching this particular population.
And 2 countries, 1 region, unlimited opportunities. That's the focus of the Epic Size Conference, Tijuana Innovadora, beginning this week in Tijuana. What's new and why startup owners may want to attend. I'm Peggy Pico with that preview, and we'll have an update on cross-border growth in the technology field, what the benefits and challenges are for binational companies.
Also tonight, we'll take an in-depth look at Proposition 45 and what it would mean for health insurance in California. KPBS Evening Edition starts right now. Hi, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Grim new numbers out tonight about Ebola. The World Health Organization says West Africa could face up to 10,000 new cases a week by December. The agency says the death rate in the current outbreak has risen to 70%. Health officials in the U.S. say they're actively monitoring 76 hospital workers who may have had contact with the first U.S. patient diagnosed with Ebola who died last week. They say they're optimistic about Nina Pham, a Dallas nurse who contracted Ebola from that first patient. She's now listed tonight in good condition. The Centers for Disease Control says it will send a rapid response team if Ebola is diagnosed at any U.S. hospital.
I wish we had put a team like this on the ground the day the first patient was diagnosed. That might have prevented this infection.
A medical device company here in San Diego says one of its systems is being used to treat an Ebola patient in Germany. The device is called a hemopurifier. It filters blood. Its maker, Athlon Medical, says the device is being used to remove the Ebola virus from the bloodstream of a Ugandan doctor. Athlon says the purifier can also remove proteins, suppressing the patient's immune system. There's no word yet on how the patient is responding to the treatment. Production is ramping up for another locally created Ebola treatment, ZMapp. USA Today reports a Kentucky bioprocessor is putting aside all of its other projects to make more of the drug. MAP Biopharmaceutical of San Diego developed the experimental drug and ran out of it back in August. ZMapp has been used to treat 2 Americans who got Ebola in West Africa. They both recovered, though it's not known if the drug made a difference. San Diego State is hosting a teach-in tonight about Ebola. Organizers say it's important to understand the disease from its historical and political points of view. They also say it's important to dispel some of the myths about Ebola. That teach-in is from 7 until 9 tonight at SDSU's Hepner Hall. A Carlsbad golf resort is being sued over last May's poinsettia fire. UT San Diego says the suit was filed by about 24 people whose homes or businesses were damaged. Investigators say the fire started on or near the 7th fairway of the golf course at the Omni La Costa Resort, but they don't know how. The lawsuit claims it was negligence by resort staff. Omni isn't commenting yet, saying it just received the suit. We've heard a lot about the cost of decommissioning the San Onofre nuclear plant, but another big question is what to do with the radioactive waste. 2 companies are bidding to build storage casks to keep the waste on the North County site. Today, they presented their plans to a community engagement panel. That panel gives input to Southern California Edison, the plant's operator. Edison will choose a storage plan by the end of next month. There are warning signs along the beach area tonight near the children's pool in La Jolla. There was a sewage spill nearby early this morning after a sanitation line got blocked. By the time it was under control, about 5,000 gallons spilled down Coast Boulevard into a storm drain, emptying into the children's pool. Warning signs will stay up until water samples come up safe. The long-stalled effort to develop Chula Vista's bayfront got a big boost from port commissioners today. The Board chose a developer to build a large hotel and a 400,000 square foot convention center. The resort is part of the first phase to develop Chula Vista's bayfront. The four-phase project expected to take 24 years to complete and bring thousands of jobs to the area. The Port Commission also heard recommendations for helping the homeless living along San Diego's bayfront. It's estimated more than 700 people are living in the port's tidelands, mostly between the USS Midway and Cesar Chavez Park. Today's report recommends getting involved in a program to give the homeless bus tickets to return to their families. It also recommends setting up donation pay stations to discourage panhandling. Female veterans are the fastest growing population among our nation's homeless. A survey by the California Research Bureau found a significant number were unaware of the services available to help them get back on their feet.
I'm here today because people were like, hey, there's a great expo for jobs. And I'm frustrated to see my sisters saying there's nothing out there, people aren't doing something for you.
Marine veteran Christina Latchett speaking up during a panel discussion and job fair designed specifically for female vets, who represent about 10% of U.S. military veterans.
If the programs are out there and they're so good and they're so beneficial, why are you still struggling?
Because employers are having a hard time adapting themselves to what we need.
We are going to make sure that people are able to find you. That's my goal.
Kelly Price Noble put on this job expo at Liberty Station in Point Loma because she found there was a great need to reach out to both active duty and veteran women whose transition from military life was just as difficult as their male counterparts.
So it's networking, and you're not taught that in the military. It's about the mission, it's about the team. It's not about me, myself, and I. So the group that we brought together today was to help you transition.
Noble says the resources are available. She brought more than 50 vendors looking to hire, but fewer than 24 women showed up. Those that did were seeking job training, advice, and support for single moms.
So we want to make sure that we get the word out so that when we do this again, people understand, okay, there's a place for me to go, and people are willing to help me.
It makes me feel that much better.
Organizers hope to put on another expo for female vets in about 6 months. You can find more information online at capandconsulting.com/events. We could know tomorrow whether San Diego voters will be able to weigh in on the city's minimum wage increase. County Registrar has been validating about 56,000 signatures submitted last month. 34,000 are needed to qualify for the ballot. But a few thousand people asked to have their names removed from the petition, saying they were misled by signature gatherers. The validations must be finished by Thursday, but the count could be out by tomorrow. A 10-day mega conference starts on Thursday in Tijuana. Nearly 500,000 people are expected to attend. Peggy Pico highlights the main attractions.
The conference, held every other year, is popular with attendees from around the world. This year's focus is business partnerships, entrepreneurs, and startup opportunities on both sides of the border. Here with more on cross-border business in the San Diego Baja region is my guest, Jaime Gonzalez Luna, Vice President of the Tijuana Innovadora Conference. Welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
The conference byline is 2 countries, 1 region, more opportunities. What's new at Innovadora this year?
Well, I think it's great news for everyone, especially this region, because we have people like Rudy Giuliani coming over, Bill Richardson. We have people, local people. Our Mayor Kevin Faulkner is coming over. Deborah Shekely from Rancho La Puerta and the Golden Door is going to be there. But the opportunities are more than that. You know, I think that there's no more than 2 or 3% of San Diegans participating in Tijuana somehow, you know, economically, culturally. So the potential, you know, the possibilities are great. And that's what we have, you know, good news for them, because they can come over and see what's going on in Tijuana, see the expo, the workshops, the conferences, and also the food.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about some of that, but tell us about some of these specific workshops, especially in the tech area. What are some things that are you have available this year?
Well, we have many things. I think the main one is we have what is called the hackathon, which will have a campus link with the National Geographic and the University of Chihuahua, and we'll have more than 3,000 young people programming. We have the presence of the MIT, Berkeley, and they'll just be programming applications for the computer.
So that brings me to who should attend. This isn't just for business owners.
No. It's for everyone. We have people that are in politics, economists, in sports, artists, everything. It's just beautiful.
Well, the first Innovadora conference was back in 2010, and Tijuana has changed a lot since then. There was a lot of drug violence back in the day. Yes. How would you describe the city today?
Well, I think it has a 180 degrees change. It's just amazing, and I think the secret is the civic involvement. Citizens concerned about their city and doing something about it, and that's what Tijuana Innovador is about. But now you can, walk the streets. You can be there. The Revolucion has changed a lot. There's so many restaurants, and there's magic right now. There's so many cultural activities. And the Secud, which is the cultural center in Tijuana, 5 minutes away from the border, that's where the whole Innovadora thing is going to happen. So it's very, very easy to get there.
Yeah, you could take the trolley and actually walk across because it's so close. But speaking of border crossing, the San Ysidro border crossing actually added new lanes since the last conference to hold more cars. Do you think it's made much of a difference as far as reducing wait times and attracting people to come over to Mexico?
Well, I think that as far as making it easier it's a great change. The lines went from 2 hours, an hour and a half, to 15 to 30 minutes tops. So yes, it's a huge change. But I think the perception is still coming, because it's harder to change the perception. People are yet to get informed and all that, so they can see that. But yes, the lines are, gone or at least reduced drastically.
So it could help for, let's say, somebody who wanted to do a business in both sides. How has this Innovadora conference actually changed business relationships? How have you seen it change partnerships between people working in San Diego or companies in San Diego and people in Tijuana?
Well, I think that what they've seen is that, we're serious about this. And I think that building bridges is one of the concerns of Tijuana Innovador, especially with our neighbors, with San Diego. And, I keep bringing business people to Tijuana, and when they see what's going on, they change completely the perception they had. And so it's very important that the people start coming and seeing what's going on there. And also it's very good, Tijuana Innovador is very good because we'll have all the contacts there. If there's business people, we'll have business meeting, B2B. But if you want to get to know artists from Tijuana, if you want to know sportsmen from Tijuana, you'll have all the people there, so you can make a lot of contacts.
Yes. Well, Jaime Gonzalez Luna, thank you so much for this update. And I want to let folks know about this. If they want to attend, there's still availability to attend, correct?
Yes.
You can go to Tijuana Innovadora 2014. It starts October 16th and runs through the 26th at the Centro Cultural Tijuana Center in Tijuana. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
The latest report on San Diego's housing market says home prices were up, but sales were down a bit in September. DataQuick says the median price of a home was $445,000, up about 5.5% from a year ago. The number of homes sold fell by almost 2%. DataQuick says investors are starting to back off from home buying. Gas prices are also falling around the county to their lowest point since the end of January. The average cost for self-serve regular now $3.61 a gallon. U.S. Supreme Court is upholding California's ban on foie gras, the fatty liver of a force-fed duck. It was banned in 2012. The law was challenged by foie gras producers in New York and Canada. The High Court rejected the challenge today. A controversial measure on the November ballot is designed to put a stop to rising health insurance costs. Prop 45 would give California's insurance commissioner the power to reject health insurance rate increases found to be excessive. KPBS health reporter Kenny Goldberg says the measure has prompted a battle between consumer groups and a coalition of insurance companies.
Tamara Kaplan loves to travel. Her home in University Heights is filled with tokens of her many trips. She brought these items back from one of her recent voyages.
And I just thought that they were just so strange, and they make me laugh.
Kaplan is retired and lives off her investments. She makes too much money to qualify for subsidized health insurance through Covered California, so Kaplan has to buy insurance on the individual market. Her plan from Anthem Blue Cross costs nearly $1,400 a month.
Plus another $100 for meds and co-pays. It's ridiculous.
Kaplan has to shell out about 1/3 of her income for health insurance, and there's no end in sight. Last April, Anthem Blue Cross raised her premiums 17%.
And I'm totally expecting another rate increase as of April 1st.
Since 2002, health insurance premiums in California have risen by more than 170%. That's the impetus for Prop 45.
Prop 45 is all about putting the brakes on runaway health insurance rates. We are in the minority of states that doesn't allow for the government to say no to an excessive rate hike.
Jamie Court is president of the Santa Monica-based nonprofit Consumer Watchdog, the main backer of Prop 45. Court explains the measure would give California's insurance commissioner the power to reject unreasonable rate hikes. Prop 45 would require insurers to publicly disclose and justify any rate increases. Court says the measure would fill a major loophole in the Affordable Care Act.
There is no governmental body in California or federally that has the power to tell a health insurance company they're charging too much. And yet, the health insurance companies sell policies and we all have to buy them. So the missing link in the Affordable Care Act is having some kind of mechanism to make sure that health insurance rates are affordable.
Consumer Watchdog was the driving force behind a landmark measure that gave the state insurance commissioner the authority to regulate the price of homeowners and auto insurance. California voters approved that measure, Prop 103, in 1988. The Consumer Federation of America says it's helped Californians save billions of dollars on car insurance. Prop 45 aims to do the same for health insurance, but a powerful coalition is trying to make sure that doesn't happen. A group calling itself Californians Against Higher Healthcare Costs is leading the charge against Prop 45. The coalition includes health insurance companies, the California Chamber of Commerce, and the California Medical Association. San Diego pediatrician Sherry Franklin is on the CMA Board of Trustees. Dr. Franklin says the Affordable Care Act is designed to provide consumers some relief on high health insurance costs.
And I think we need to let this system play out before we start throwing more pieces into the mix. We've created a system, it's brand new. Let's let it do its job before we assume that it's not going to work for us.
Under the Affordable Care Act, Covered California is the state's insurance exchange. Dr. Franklin says it has a special commission that reviews rates and can exclude health plans from the exchange that are too expensive. She says, let's give it a chance.
Then if that doesn't work, then we move forward. Then we look for another option or a tweak here and there within the Affordable Health Care Act. But for now, I think we have to go with what we voted for.
The coalition has raised more than $37 million to defeat Prop 45. It argues the measure would give one elected official, the insurance commissioner, too much power.
The choice is clear. Keep the independent commission and vote no on 45.
Consumer Watchdog's Jamie Court says it all comes down to a very simple question.
Do you trust the California Nurses Association and Consumer Watchdog or the health insurance companies?
Tamara Kaplan doesn't know who to believe, but she's sure about one thing. She could take 4 trips every year for the money she's paying for health insurance.
And I think that 4 really good trips are much healthier for me than paying money out of my pocket for something it's not intangible, but something that I don't really reap all the benefits from.
As it stands now, health insurers can raise rates whenever they want. Kenny Goldberg, KPBS News.
Video journalist Nick McVicker helped produce that story. You can find all of our election coverage online at kpbs.org/election. San Diego is well known as a technology hub. Peggy Pico is looking into startup companies expanding into Tijuana.
Baja California continues to see rapid growth in the technology field as many businesses are tapping into Mexico's low-cost manufacturing facilities and skilled tech workers. Here with a look at cross-border collaboration and its challenges is my guest, Jorge Arroyo, co-founder of MindHub, a tech incubator in Tijuana. Jorge, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Now, from telecommunication companies to drone manufacturing businesses, I understand collaborations really are growing between the two countries, especially in the field of tech companies. What are some of the benefits of doing cross-border companies or partnerships in the tech world?
Well, there is an essential benefit of tapping into the proximity factor, and us having, as Tijuana, a privileged geographic location. There's actually a huge talent pool, not only in Tijuana and Baja, but throughout Mexico. Companies in the U.S., Silicon Valley, San Diego, California's largest economy. If anything, it's a trend to be struggling to find the right talent and the people, the skill sets. So in that sense, that's one of the key things, is the fact that there's a huge talent pool that's still undertapped, underutilized, and again, the potential associated to that pretty much. Along with that, there's this whole startup movement going on both sides of the border, and there's a lot of back and forth going on there too.
Yeah, and let's talk about this startup. We'll start with on the Tijuana side. Startups in Tijuana who actually want to come over to the U.S., what are some challenges for them?
Most startups, by definition, are approaching or gearing towards having a global impact. And in that sense, from the mindset, from the technology standpoint, best practices and so forth, being so close definitely helps shape a bicultural, binational approach to that. Along with that, having California as so close and having that be an initial stepping stone for validation, for traction, for overall, getting your foot on the ground with something that you're starting from scratch. Again, it just makes sense, so forth. Along with that, there's of course the whole part about capital investment and as any startup in its latter stages has to evolve and scale. The ability to tap into a more mature marketplace here in the Silicon Valley and so forth. Also, it's instrumental. We're little by little we're starting to see success stories around that.
Right. So that sounds pretty successful. Not a whole lot of challenges than other startups on either side of the border would face.
Correct.
What about for U.S. companies trying to get a foothold or trying to do a startup in Mexico? Are there challenges there?
It's very compelling. There's 2 angles to that. One is as a startup, getting into Mexico from the market standpoint, whether you have maybe something you want to have that be in your entry to Latin America for some reason and validating or expanding a market. Bigger companies like Uber and so forth are already doing it. And again, Tijuana as a gateway for that. But then again, there's always the other angle from the execution standpoint. Any startup, as most startups, are bootstrapped. They're highly sensitive to funding and use of funds and so forth. So the cost angle of doing something south of the border, so close, as a startup, you need a lot of proximity, a lot of interaction, a lot of whiteboarding and so forth. You can do that, but still do that with a cost benefit associated to that.
Tell us a little about MindHub, the incubator.
It's a somewhat new effort that we started a couple of years ago. A lot of collaboration going on with the counterparts here in San Diego, the Evo Nexus or the UCSD Connect and so forth. Startup Circle, also an organization here in San Diego. And basically, we're all focused on helping people with ideas, helping them come to fruition, whether that's giving them a structure from the ideation process, which is usually chaotic, all the way to some mentoring connections with people who can help them in the latter stages, validating and getting some sense of market validation, again, that their ideas actually make sense. And of course, the heavy lifting of the execution, whether that's marketing, especially the programming side. That's part of what we do at MindHub.
And that's in Tijuana. It's based in Tijuana,
that is correct.
But U.S. citizens can come over, San Diegans can come over.
That is correct. If anything, there is collaboration. There is companies here in San Diego working out of the incubators here who have developers down there. There's actually students coming down there choose to present ideas, and through the consulate, we're also, working on a project in which U.S. students are coming in and spend some time as internships in Tijuana-based companies.
What would you say to critics who say that these types of collaborations are taken away from U.S. jobs?
To the contrary, I mean, the jobs are already, the ones that naturally will be shifted out of the U.S. It have been for 20, 30 years in the India or Ukraine or China and so forth. If anything, this is bringing them closer and tightening up collaboration. And again, the fact that we're so close and the proximity factor allows some of the managerial or collaborative jobs in the U.S. to have more sense rather than sending those abroad. So if anything, again, the proximity factor increases the possibility of having more jobs stay here.
All right. Well, we have a lot more on this on our website, kpbs.org. Jorge Arroyo, thank you so much.
Thank you for your time.
Let's get a quick look at the forecast. The Weather Service says we have a slight chance of rain overnight or heavy drizzle. Then a mix of sun and clouds along the coast tomorrow, upper 60s to low 70s with the next few days. A bit warmer for the inland valleys, low to mid 70s there. Plenty of sunshine in the mountains, temperatures in the upper 60s and low 90s out in the desert with some clouds rolling in by Friday. Tonight's stories are online at kpbs.org/evening edition. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night.